This is Nick Williams here for Temple of Geek at San Diego Comic-Con. Nick with Temple of Geek, and I'm here with Freya Allan. First off, you are coming off of things like The Witcher, but coming into this big universe of Planet of the Apes. What was it like for you to dive into this whole franchise?
I mean, it was so exciting. When I found out I got the role and had to fly over to Australia, I was just so excited to start. And I still can't believe, honestly, when I really think about it, that I'm a part of this franchise.
What was it like for you to be like one of the only humans in the film itself acting with apes?
I mean, it kind of, again, it felt like an honor that I was getting to bring that part of the story to life, and I think she's such an interesting character, and getting to play all those layers and conflicts and lies or not lies, but hiding so much information, and I don't know. I think she's a very interesting part of the story, and is a mystery. So I feel very lucky that I've been able to play her.
What was it like filming something like this with so much visual effects and everything else? What was that experience for you?
Crazy, because I had to do all my scenes with them and then without them, and so that was, when someone's, it's just hard doing a scene not looking at anyone's face, firstly, but then also sometimes they interact with you, and so if they're interacting with you and then you have to do it without someone, you're having to like make physical reactions off nothing. So it was, I didn't know that was going to be the case before I joined. Obviously it wouldn't have made a difference to me joining, but I remember finding that out and I was like, sorry, I have to do all my scenes on my own? I couldn't believe it, but it worked out.
That's awesome. Is there anything you are currently working on?
The Witcher. Season 4.
What are you excited about for that?
Everything. Honestly, my series storyline is just, like, for me it's the best storyline she's had so far. We just get to see a completely different side of her, and she's badass. She's badass.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm here with Peter Macon.
How you doing?
First off, I would like to really know how you kind of dove into this role and created this, especially being kind of in an ape world. What was that like for you?
Listen, like the audition sort of set the precedent, and it was like maybe 2-3 pages, very limited amount of information. And I had to craft or imagine, like a lot of it is imagination work, but I had to imagine what, not only physically, like how do I transform this face, like for these words, and how do I speak these words, like what is a talking orangutan? What is that? You know what I mean? And like the physicality and how they move their head. So I had to, and it was a lot of fun. Took a whole weekend and just like, I told my wife, I'm just like, I really, really, really want to do this because it calls upon like all of my clown training and like my dance training and physical training and martial arts and all that stuff, and also character study, so it was a big. There's big shoes to fill to do, but like the challenge of it and being specific, and I studied a lot of orangutans, but yeah, it was that. It was just like, how do I make this land and make this believable, and that was the assignment. And I watched it, I've seen it about 12-15 times, and I'm still like, did you get it right? I don't know.
I still think you were in the heart of that movie. Like
thank you.
You brought that soul to it. So.
He definitely has his own note and his own tone that he brings to the film, and I think audiences are relieved, I feel like, when he comes out, like, I can't take any more stress, and like the connective tissue of the last 3 films exists with him. So, I'm happy that audiences really respond to that, to the film in general, but like Raka's sort of his place in it all, like his note that he like plays in the symphony that is the movie. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm here with Pyke, who is the visualization supervisor for
That's right.
Kingdom of Planet of the Apes. Could you tell us what your role as visualization supervisor entails?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the production, Wes Ball came to us because we'd worked together in the past and wanted us to make the opening sequence of the movie, which kind of went from the Caesar's funeral scene with the time cut into many generations in the future, and like the eagle swiping down and grabbing the fish, and then the apes climbing up. And so we started off with that, and there was all sorts of kind of exploration when it comes to that. What does the building look like? What does the backgrounds look like? And a lot of that stuff came from the art department. But because it was kind of really early days, we just made up a bunch of stuff where it was probably not going to be the thing that was actually in the movie, but kind of told the story. And so in that sequence, we animated all the scenes of them looking at the nest and choosing out the egg, and Noah kind of going up to the other nest. And there were probably like 3 or 4 versions, completely different versions of how the nest falls or how he falls off the nest to like grab his egg at the end. And that one was a challenge because every time the design of the building changed, it was like, oh, well, that doesn't make sense anymore. So now we have to do a little bit different, and, get them down in different ways. And so a constant kind of creative challenge that was really fulfilling.
As basically an artist, what is there something in the movie that you were particularly proud of that came through that you look at it and you're like, wow, I did that. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, as a supervisor, sometimes I'm like actually on the box animating, but on a bigger movie where the bigger team, usually I kind of take a step back and tell other people how to do like the shots. But somewhere in there, we were just doing so many scenes, and there was a scene where Noah goes in and looks at a telescope that's all run down and kind of looks through the eyepiece. And that scene, it was one where I was like, well, I've got to do something on this movie. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to just take my slow time and do every shot in that scene and let my team work on all the big action and stuff. So when that scene came up in the theater, I was like, oh, that's my scene.
Thank you so much.
Cool, thank
Appreciate
you very much.
Yes.